This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. News 25 is also brought to you by Silver State Health, Pahrumps exclusive pediatric care clinic. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It's Tuesday, March 23rd.
Well, the Nye County Sheriff's Office is asking once again for the public's help in locating a wanted person.
Nye County authorities are trying to locate this man, 44-year-old Brian Roger Teal. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds, with blue eyes and balding. The Sheriff's Office says Teal is a convicted person who's moved to our community and failed to register. Anyone who knows the whereabouts of Teal is being asked to call the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 775-751-7000. Tips can also be emailed confidentially to sheriff@co.nye.nv.us. Just last week, the Sheriff's Office had asked for help locating Michelle Teeter. Tips from the public paid off. Deputies were able to take her into custody this past weekend in Tonopah.
And one person has been flown to Las Vegas Trauma Center after a rollover crash on US 95 here in Nye County.
The crash happened Monday evening on US 95, about 5 miles east of Amargosa Valley. The woman driving the SUV was reportedly ejected from the vehicle when it ran off the roadway and rolled before landing back on its wheels. Initial calls indicated there was also a child in the vehicle, but that proved to be untrue. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, and ambulance from Amargosa Valley and Nevada Highway Patrol all responded to the crash scene. Nevada Highway Patrol is investigating. The woman driver was reported to be found unconscious. She was flown to a Las Vegas trauma center for treatment of her injuries. Witnesses report the vehicle had been speeding, and troopers say they suspect impairment.
Well, we often give you a heads up when we hear that the Forest Service will be performing a prescribed burn. But what exactly is a prescribed burn?
A prescribed burn takes care of a forestry problem before it becomes a wildfire. The Department of Agriculture and Forestry Service will periodically plan and set fire to reduce and remove vegetation and fuels that can feed a fire. A prescribed burn is very controlled. It is purposefully planned and set and has many good benefits. In the event of a wildfire, a prescribed burn enables firefighters to reduce intensity by reducing hazardous fuels like needle cast and brush. Off-season prescribed burns help first responders and firefighters by giving them a safer place to start their suppression activities. Forests can become unhealthy without prescribed burns. Prescribed fire minimizes the spread of insects, pests, and disease. Nutrients are also recycled back into the soil, providing habitat for game and endangered species and promoting the growth of plants and wildflowers, benefiting the entire ecosystem. Every detail is considered in planning a prescribed burn, including temperature, humidity, wind, and moisture of the vegetation, and even how the smoke will disperse. Firefighters work closely with the state, local air quality regulators, as well as the National Weather Service to determine the least amount of impact smoke will have on the public. But a little smoke from a prescribed fire is much better than smoke produced from a large fire over a long period of time. Prescribed fire is good for the forest.
All right, stay tuned. We'll tell you what you need to know if you're thinking about investing in Bitcoin. All that and more financial news when News 25 returns.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, Fed Chair Jerome Powell issues a warning about Bitcoin. Caesars Entertainment is suing its insurers for failing to pay out for COVID-related losses. And fewer people were buying homes in February. Angela Miles has more.
Tapping our news ahead of the Fed, Jerome Powell is calling Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies highly volatile and not a useful store of money. Bitcoin lately has been attracting some high-profile financial firms. However, Powell says people need to understand that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies come with a high risk. Caesars Entertainment is suing its insurance carriers. The casino company states in a filing that the insurance companies allegedly refused to pay out losses from the COVID outbreak that totaled more than $2 billion. The housing market is on shaky ground. People are not putting their homes up for sale at the normal spring rate, and the supply of available homes in the market is down 29% compared to a year ago. Sales of existing homes in February fell 6.6% compared to January. Amazon is facing a backlash in Italy. Warehouse and delivery workers there are on a 24-hour strike.
Thanks, Angela. Well, today, Caleb Cage from Nevada's COVID-19 response issued an update on the COVID-19 efforts here in the state. They say that right now, Nevada has a rate of 4.8% as a positivity rate. And we are also at about 300,000 cases right now. The Hospital Association is saying that they have about 300 currently in the hospital, 232 confirmed with 68 suspected. Also, they are keeping track of the variants found here in the state, which they say are about 4 at this time, which make up about 65% of the cases. 2 of the variants are of most concern, and the other 2, they say, are of least concern. But the one that's called the California variant seems to be the one that they are concerned with the most. They say they make up approximately a quarter of the cases here in the state. The California variant may be less susceptible to the antibody therapy, but may be more infectious. Right now, they said that there was 3 weeks that there was no additional cases of these variants, but last week, 37 more cases were identified. For more information on these variants and how the state is doing as far as our COVID-19 mitigation, you can go to Southern Nevada Health District.
And News 25 is following several cases in district court. Missy Kohler has those details for you in our court report right now.
Virgil Sparks was in Judge Wonker's court last Friday. Sparks is facing charges of child abuse and neglect and DUI. In December of 2019, Sparks was arrested after he crashed his car into a brick wall at Leslie and Irene Streets. At the time of the crash, Sparks had 3 children in the car. Sparks entered a guilty plea in court, but then rescinded the plea. He stated that he was unclear of the information he was being provided because of the television cameras in the courtroom. Sparks said that the media has made him out to look like a, quote, serial baby killer, end quote. He did not like their presence. The judge asked that parole and probation submit a pre-sentencing investigation because Sparks may need to be assessed to see if he is likely to reoffend. His rearraignment has been set for April 16th. Sparks also has a current DUI case in Justice Court. KPVM obtains information of arrest from the Sheriff's Office issued Declaration of Arrest report, and the information is used without embellishment or input of the reporter. Charges listed are decided upon by the District Attorney's Office and may be amended by that office at any time. Alan Varon was in court on March 12th appearing from the Tonopah jail. Varon was to be sentenced for his role in a shooting that occurred in July of 2020 in the area of Marnie Court off of Bourbon Street. The alleged victim in the case had a disagreement with his roommate and had locked Varon and the other suspects out of the home after they left through the garage. The other suspects were identified as Robert Marcino, Juan Burgos, Justin Gensler, and Nathan Boldew. The victim said that he could hear and see the suspects going through his toolbox through a window, and they were taking his tools. The victim retrieved a gun and entered the garage, and at that time, it was reported that one of the suspects pointed 2 guns at the victim's face. The victim then shot at the suspect 2 times, and all of the suspects fled the residence in 2 separate vehicles. Varon had been shot and was taken to a Las Vegas hospital for treatment. Burgos, Gensler, and Boileau were arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to commit grand larceny, and following his release from the hospital, Varon was taken into custody on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit grand larceny, burglary while in possession of a gun or deadly weapon, robbery with a deadly weapon, aiming a gun at a person, and possession of a controlled substance. The defense for Varon noted that there were a few mistakes in the pre-sentencing investigation report that needed to be corrected. Mainly, his birthplace was listed wrong, and the report stated that Barron did not want drug counseling, but he said that he does. The defense asked that the sentencing be continued so the corrections can be made. Because both parties are recommending jail time, the judge said that Barron would remain in jail and sentencing would be continued to April 30th. Barron is facing a 2 to 5 year sentence. And Daniel Dalmas appeared in court via closed circuit television from the Tonopah jail. Dalmas was due to be arraigned on February 19th, but came to court with a positive drug test. He was remanded to the Tonopah jail, and his arraignment continued to March 19th. Dalmas is facing charges of animal abuse after a local veterinarian asked animal control to perform a welfare check on 2 kittens that were treated last October for serious injuries to their mouths. Dalmas told officers he was mad at the kittens for defecating on a blanket, and he held them by their napes and grinded the kittens' faces into the carpet. The veterinarian said that the kittens' lips had been pulled off the jaw and were hanging down. At his continuing arraignment on March 19th, Dalmas had entered a guilty plea agreement, but the agreement with the original signatures had not yet made it from Tonopah. The judge once again continued arraignment as she said it was important to have the original guilty plea agreement before the proceeding. The case has been continued to March 26th. And that is your court report for today. I'm Missy Kohler.
All right, thanks so much, Missy, and we'll be back with much more local news.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Welcome back. Sam Jones is an American actor, arguably best known for his role as Flash Gordon in the 1980 film. Jones is a fan favorite at comic show conventions worldwide. This weekend, he'll be in our area meeting fans and signing autographs at 2 stores, including Hypno Comics right here in Pahrump.
This has been incredible. We started last year the 40th anniversary Flash Gordon World Tour, and I had most of the star actors on board, and we started in Liverpool in March. And then, of course, that crazy COVID hit. So there's not that many big comic cons to do, but I'm doing what's incredible. It's a lot more fun to do them a little bit smaller, a bit more quaint, a little bit more personal. And now it's also transitioned over into comic book collectible stores, and the fans are incredible, Deanna. I mean, the passion. They just can't wait to get out of the house. And
I can imagine, especially now.
And it's a great opportunity for the fans to come out and tell me their story. The things were a little bit diminished last year, but we're picking it back up. But again, it's all based on what the fans want, and we're headed out to Pahrump, Las Vegas, to my buddy George's place.
Mm-hmm.
Hypno, right?
Yeah.
Hypno Comics. 3 different toy companies brought out 3 different Flash Gordon action figures this year.
Oh.
And they're pretty cool. And NECA brought out a really cool one. It's a 7-inch. It's out, but they sold out. But I called the head of development. He said they should be out in time again. It's a 7-inch vintage looking Flash Gordon. And then Boss Fight Studios brought out the 40th anniversary 3 3/4 inch, but it's in the 40th anniversary lunchbox. This is really cool. And then all these comic books. There's also the 40th anniversary coffee table edition book that's out right now.
Wow.
And so yeah, we're excited. It's you can see it in the countenance of the fans who show up, and they're very excited. And they're bringing the comic books from vintage 1940s, 1950s Flash Gordon comic books to the Dynamite, to the, I think it's pronounced Zeitgeist that Alex Ross did.
Yeah.
And then Kings, Charlton, Gold Key, all of that. Yeah, so it's exciting.
I could have spoke to him forever. It was so much fun meeting him. Well, Sam Jones will be at Rogue Toys East in Las Vegas Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. He will then meet his fans here in Pahrump at Hypno Comics at 720 East Street from 3:30 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. The meet and greet is part of a grand opening celebration for Hypno Comics. The store will be also having a huge dollar comic book parking lot sale, as well as food raffles, door prizes, and more. For more information, you can go to hypnocomics.com.
I am totally fangirling out over Flash Gordon and would love to take a selfie with him, especially at that event. And speaking of selfies, taking the perfect one has made things a lot easier thanks to filters and photo editing. In seconds, you could have flawless hair, skin, and makeup. But it might seem like a harmless thing for some, but some experts say it can be an unhealthy obsession for others.
The obsession with one's appearance as it appears on a screen has fundamentally changed the way we interact with patients and the kind of challenges that they bring to our attention.
Dr. Patrick Burns specializes in facial plastic surgery at Cleveland Clinic. He says while it can be normal for someone to be critical of their appearance, he is always on the lookout for those who could have body dysmorphic disorder, which is when someone becomes consumed by a physical flaw and will do whatever they can to fix it, even if it means resorting to plastic surgery. He says it's important to remember what you see on a screen isn't always reality. In fact, a study from 2018 showed your nose can look 30% bigger in a selfie.
Even before these filters were in place, there's this effect on many people in which they believe that they look worse than they actually do, and they care more because they're subjected to their imagery literally thousands of times a year through social media platforms.
He says if you do find yourself becoming obsessed with your looks, you may want to take a break from social media. He says therapy can also be helpful.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, look at those ominous clouds, and we had precipitation. They're hanging low over the valley.
We got this shot earlier today. I
Yeah.
thought this was so interesting, so we wanted to show it.
Yeah.
Very interesting clouds there.
I love it. And let's take a closer look at that forecast and if there's more precipitation in our future right after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. It's a happy Taco Tuesday. Nom, nom, nom. Let's check them out in Fernley, 47 degrees, all the way down to Carson City. That seems to be the average. It gets even chiller as you approach Tonopah and Goldfield Country, 40 degrees and 42 for their highs. Beatty heating up a little bit, 56, 62 in Amargosa. Las Vegas as much as room temperature, 65 degrees. That's a little chill for room temperature even, isn't it? Death Valley's feeling pretty good, 73 degrees. Here in the Paradise of Pahrump, well, we got 59 degrees. Current temperature, 62 was our high today. And those winds, my, oh my, 25 mile per hour average gusts, and that's pretty gusty. You'd almost say blustery even. Humidity this morning at 20%. Gave us a nice cloud cover as the sun rose gloriously at 6:42 a.m. And it'll set this evening just shy of 7 o'clock. We'll head down to a low of about 44 degrees as a low tonight. And those winds not letting up one little bit. 22 mile per hour out of the north overnight. And then tomorrow, more. Look at that, 20 mile per hour winds out of the north-northwest. Okay, now they're going to be dying down a little bit as we head on into the week. Not too much. Let's say average 12, 13 mile per hour as we head on into the week. But look at those temperatures rising gracefully, majestically, warmingly up to a 79 degree high on Monday. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Clear skies, nice temperatures, moderate winds. We'll look forward to it. In the meantime, little bluster, no problem. Back to the desk. It's Unette and Deanna.
Thanks so much, John. And we do got to say we have the neighborhood cleanup happening this Saturday from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Thanks to Little Caesars for our pizza party afterwards. Of course, we provide the safety vests, water, gloves, and trash bags. All you have to do is meet us on the corner of Highway 160 and Basin Avenue right there at the Bob Roode Community Center, right under the blue pop-up canopy. And we'll be cleaning up some areas. If you have a truck or a trailer, we're going to also be picking up shopping carts around town like we always do. And so we are looking for all the volunteers we can get. Even if you can't make it for the whole time, come on down. It's going to be lots of fun, and we're just going to see if we can beautify the town.
That's right. Come on out, earn your slice. All
Okay.
right.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25.
I'm Deanna.
I'm Deanna.
I'm Deanna.
No, I'm
I'm
Unette.
Unette.
Goodbye.
Good night.